What's up, guys? Max here, back with a brand new episode of the Scuttlebutt Show, and it's great to be here with you all, whether you're listening live on YouTube, podcast, Facebook, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope you're having a great day. Maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're in your car, maybe you're on your couch. It's all good with me. What's up, everybody in the live chat over here on YouTube? Eviana, MC, Tiffany, Harry, Lime, Pie. It is great to see everyone and be back for what is, I have to describe today's episode as, frankly, too good. Every once in a while, we have an episode that is straight up too good. Today, we have a aircraft mishap, but don't worry, nothing too serious. A criminal, or is he a hero? I'm not sure. We've got the Army is just straight taking you to school, literally and just, you know, as a figure of speech. I've got a veteran taking on a wild animal in a video that you're not going to believe, and we're going to wrap it all up with a reaction to a new movie trailer coming out that looks kind of interesting, and more, and there's more. Green Block in the chat. It is great to see you. How are you doing? Welcome back. Long time no see. Yesterday was a fun episode, and I have to give you guys an update on tomorrow's before we go any further. Really quick, before we get into the first story, tomorrow's episode is going to be, Thursday, my bad. I don't even know what day it is. It's Tuesday right now. The American Times messed me up. Thursday's episode is going to be at a different time. It's going to be later, but it's going to be live with two awesome veterans and authors of some epic books. So stay tuned. I'll be posting about it on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and I'll create the event here on YouTube so you guys can catch that as well. To answer Green Block's question, am I still in Okinawa? No, I'm in Oceanside, California, home of Camp Pendleton, home of the great military film Purple Hearts. But yeah, I'm out here in Oceanside, Oshinawa, if you will. Yeah, whatever. That wasn't very good. What is good is the show that I have for you guys today. I am not kidding. It is awesome. And because it's so awesome, I can't waste another minute before we get into it. So can we go ahead and jump into today's first story? Scary moment. Scary moment for the Air Force when a KC-46 forced to land with its refueling boom dangling out of the back, all gear adrift style, and there were people there to catch it on film. So here's what happened. A KC-46 Pegasus tanker jet gave a group of congressional staffers an impromptu lesson in airborne emergencies during an intro flight this week, so that's always reassuring. Two of the Air Force's new tankers took off Tuesday with a group of 16 staffers who work for New Hampshire's congressional delegation. Democratic Senators Jeanne Shaheen, Maggie Hassan, and Reps Annie Kuster and Chris Pappas. The guests were on board for a first-hand look at the KC-46 that belonged to the New Hampshire Air National Guard's refueling wing out there. Pease Air National Guard base in southeastern New Hampshire was the Air Guard's first to receive the KC-46, which is replacing the KC-135 Stratotanker, which many of you have probably seen out and about if you've been in the military for a while. But here's what happened with this refueler. One of the airplanes demonstrated its ability to refuel other jets. While that was happening, the cable used to retract the fuel boom into the fuselage snapped. So this thing's dangling out of the back. So the pilots diverted to Joint Base McGuire-Dix in New Jersey and landed the aircraft with the boom still outstretched. Emergency services responded and safely secured the scene. There was no fire injuries to crew or passengers, which is miraculous considering that thing's full of jet fuel, JP5 probably, and that is no joke, although it does have a high flash point of, I think, 140 degrees, something like that. Don't quote me, something like that. So the resulting domino effect sent the pair's other KC-46 to Manchester Boston Regional for landing, and Pease's runway had to be closed because of the massive C-5 Super Galaxy transport planes that had been diverted there amid its own in-flight emergency. And those planes are incredibly big. If you've been inside there, they can fit tanks, trucks, and helicopters inside, along with you in your, hopefully, hammock to get a good night's rest. Airmen called in another jet on its way back from Florida to pick up the stranded staffers. It's unclear how much damage was done to the boom or the aircraft itself upon landing. The wing is going to do an investigation to determine the cause and extent of damage to the boom, what caused those straps to snap. But luckily for us, the viewers of the Scuttlebutt show, somebody was a heads-up player and got this whole thing on video. Now, I don't know exactly how high quality this video is. It looks kind of low quality, but we'll get a glimpse of what happened out here. So here was the scene at McGuire Dix when this plane touched down. If you listen on the podcast, I'll try to walk you through it. Planes coming in for a landing. A bunch of crash and salvage standing by. You can see the fueling boom hanging out of the back there. I hope you guys can kind of see that. It's a little gritty. Touches down. American flag painted on the pylon on the back. Boom. It's down. Touchdown. And you can see that thing just dragging on the ground there. Yikes. Wow, what an overall safe landing with the fire trucks responding there, the crash and salvage team out there responding. An overall safe landing. Bravo Zulu to the crew. I bet those Congress staffers and representatives feel really good about the money spent there after something like that. I just love the American flag painted on the rear, I don't know what you would call that, fin or rudder. I don't know what that's called on that aircraft. I bet they were having a lot of stories to tell when they got back to the Capitol there. So glad to see that everybody's safe. I am definitely happy to report that. But what a chaotic scene to have that boom out there just dangling on the runway as it lands. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Have you guys ever seen one of those in-flight refuelers having to link up with a helo? It looks so scary. They're like flying, both aircraft are flying really fast, and they got to maneuver that thing right onto the refueling pole and absorb some fresh fuel. And I can't believe that that's a real thing. That is crazy. Greenblock says, I bet your buff Brolic body could have stopped the plane with your own two hands. Good alliteration, and I think that you're probably right. What's up, Sam, in the chat? And what's up, John Franco? The New Hampshire Air National Guard has also been in the news for flashy paint jobs in their aircraft tails. Well, yeah, that's true. For that one right there with the American flag, looks very flashy. Tiffany, that looks scary AF. I would agree. That's very scary. Landing with any kind of malfunction is always an exciting time. Definitely not something that you want going on. It's obviously better to avoid that. But if you do have to do it, then I'm glad they could do it safely. And that's why they train for those exact types of things. You know, I'll tell you guys a little sea story really. Well, not really a sea story, but just a fact of life in the military. When you're in the military and you're doing firearms training, you're out on the range. You got some range time. You got some machine guns. You've got some rifles and some pistols. You know, you're doing through your 9mm, your 5.56, your 7.62 rounds, your 50 cals. Oh, man, what a day you're having. What a time. What a fun time to shoot thousands or even tens of thousands of rounds over the course of a couple days on the range between you and your teammates, your battle buddies and shipmates. And then comes the part that we all dread the most. Policing the range. That's right, folks. You're not going home until every spent casing, aka brass, is picked up. You got to go out there and trudge through the dirty fields, the sandy, dirty, overgrown fields, and pick up all your brass. And you're counting it up, and you're like, there's got to be a better way. And nope, you're just out there walking back and forth, FOD walk down style for all my aviation veterans out there. And you are hating life. Like, yeah, you know, the good comes with the bad. You got to take the good with the bad, I guess. One person has taken it upon themselves to free the burden of all the soldiers out at Fort Drum. Hero or villain? You tell me. New York man charged with stealing more than $40,000 in brass from Fort Drum. $40,000 in brass. After a years-long investigation by state and federal agencies, a Carthage man has been charged with stealing more than $40,000 in brass bullet casings from Fort Drum. You can have them. Terrence M. Williams, 60 years old, of Carthage, was charged by state police August 9th with third-degree grand larceny. Sir, I tip my hat to you. Please, you're welcome out. Can't we just pay him for his efforts? Can't that just be his credit for the work he puts in, going and getting all that brass The investigation into Mr. Williams by state police began in 2019 when the FBI tip line received a tip. I guess that's what they do. So I don't know if you have to say the FBI tip line received a tip. That's a little redundant. Troopers worked with the FBI Joint Task Force Investigations Unit and the Fort Drum Criminal Investigations Unit and found that Mr. Williams, when he was a civilian employee on the base, had been taking the brass casings from the military in his personal vehicle and taking them to a salvage yard to sell. State police alleged this began in 2017. State police valued a brass at more than $40,000. I don't understand how he could get that much brass. Is that with inflation or what is the deal there? When Mr. Williams was arrested, he was taken to jail, arraigned, and later released on his own recognizance. There are way worse things you can do. Terrence Williams, you, sir, are a gosh dang American hero as far as I'm concerned. Can't they just hire this guy if he wants the brass so bad on some overtime to go police the ranges? Well, the military's not making the they're not making the most of it. They probably take that ammo and then just take it to a facility and store it as, they just put it in a locker somewhere and they don't even recycle it. They just keep it in their inventory as just spent brass. The military doesn't do much good with any of that stuff. So let Mr. Williams have it. Golly, there's worse things you can do, folks. There's worse things you can do. What do you guys think about this one? Hero or villain? Should he be allowed out on Fort Drum to collect this brass as much as he wants and go, cash in on it? I guess the problem here is, of course, that the military paid for that ammo and he's profiting off of it and he's selling it out to the public. I get it. It's not his property. It's the property of the government. But maybe if he could just volunteer and then go pick it up, he can keep it. Or like, you eat what you kill. You go out there, you pick it up, you turn it in. That's how it should be. Maybe that would motivate some of these junior troops to go out there and, clean the range up a little bit better. And then they don't have to take jobs smuggling immigrants for the cartels, like that story we had yesterday. But that's none of my business. I'm just hosting a YouTube channel. Let me know what you guys think about that. That one is an interesting one, I certainly think. Picking up the rounds, not so fun, Tiffany says. John says, facts. I'm also the guy who has to transport that stuff for turn-in. Green Block with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Green Block. Great to see you. Take off the shirt and I'll give the rest of this child support. Don't spend this all in one place. I would, I have bad dreams sometimes that I'm in here doing a live stream and I stand up and I'm not wearing pants or something like that. And I've broadcast my whole, most intimate self onto the internet for everyone to see. I do. I have nightmares about it. I get scared. So no, I probably can't do that, but, maybe I'll start an OnlyFans and you guys can sign up for that. Who wants to see a Scuttlebutt show OnlyFans? And Harry Lime Pie being a member for 16 months. I can't believe that. I'm seeing that in the chat flow right now. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Don't steal from the U.S. Army. No bueno. Yeah, I guess you can't steal from the Army. I guess that's bad. But look at what people are resorting to out there in order to make some money. People resort to all kinds of crazy stuff in the military. I guess that's what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Women being forced to resort to all kinds of crazy stuff. I remember we had a women's veterans group on the show a few years ago, and that episode exists on the podcast. You can go back, way back to 2019 and find this. There's definitely an old podcast from is it the San Diego Women's Veterans Network, SDWVN? You guys can go check that out. And they let me know that the VA in San Diego had only just gotten their first mammogram machine in 2016, something like that. All the female veterans, if they need female health care, they had to go through the VA to then get permission to go out in town and get their health care taken care of, their normal checkups for their breast cancer screening and things like that, which is despicable. Despicable. We can do better, folks. We can do a lot better than that. And the Air Force is trying to do better. And have they? I guess the jury's out. I feel about 5 different ways from Sunday about this next story. You tell me what you think. Nursing airmen getting new pumping rooms as Air Force looks to clear obstacles for serving parents. Okay, that's good. It's not easy to be pumping and breastfeeding while you're serving on active duty, But did we need this ridiculous looking photo booth, space cadet looking room in the middle of an office? Is that the best we could do? It's a little conspicuous, don't you think? Nursing moms serving in the Air Force will have more places to pump after 3 bases announced new lactation rooms, just the latest salvo in the service's efforts to accommodate women who have children while in uniform. I am all for making accommodations for women who are having to come back to work after having a baby. I certainly wouldn't want to trade places with them. That is hard work, folks. Women in the military come to work pregnant. They come to work while they're post-pregnancy. Only recently did they get an extension to the maternity leave. Before that, they were back in just a few weeks, hoping to breastfeed their child to give them the best chances for the healthiest, outcomes as they see fit. And then they had no place to do it, so they would have to go find private spaces and heads and things like that. But they come up with this weird-looking half circle with clouds painted on it room. I don't know. I feel like they could have done something a little bit more inconspicuous. The expanded access for nursing airmen comes as maternity uniforms for both airmen and soldiers hard to come by due to supply chain issues are due to return to base exchanges in the coming weeks. Officials at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma, Hill Air Force Base in Utah, and Robbins Air Force Base in Georgia have created private and secure spaces for breastfeeding airmen to pump. That includes lactation pods, which is what we're looking at, which are small enclosed booths airmen can discreetly use. At Robbins Air Force Base, officials also developed a digital map that shows service members where rooms are located and who they need to get in touch with to unlock them. So they're like, because people would probably go goof around in them or take naps or something like that. Our primary goal was to provide current information to connect people who needed to use a lactation room with the contact people for requesting the use of these rooms. So at least they kept it super simple. Psych, opposite day. We also want to bring awareness of the requirement for lactation rooms for nursing airmen and everyone on base. Yeah. I'm glad that they came up with a requirement and did provide something. Lactation pods have been slowly rolling out at Air Force bases as an additional way to provide access for pregnant nursing airmen since 2019 in response to a mandate that secure and sanitary spaces be made available. Good. That's great. Helps the service member and helps the family. And there should be major efforts to improve quality of life for service members and their families all the time instead of giving them poison water. The pods provide a quick solution that avoids more extensive construction costs or delays. We received a lot of feedback from nursing mothers about having to pump or nurse in less than ideal facilities from Major Aaliyah Nadeem. Once a major, always a major. Name what movie that's from. They were having to pump in bathrooms, locker rooms, and borrowed offices, and this sometimes discourages new mothers from continuing to express milk. So instead, they were expressing dissatisfaction, I guess. Prior to that 2019 directive, Air Force bases had only a handful of lactation rooms that had been specifically designed for that purpose, meaning older buildings would often be without spaces. The Air Force had worked to clear obstacles for nursing moms who access secure areas. Some airmen use breast pumps that rely on Bluetooth-enabled technology, but those devices were not allowed in some secure spaces until 2021, when a mandate came out that they were. Interesting. I see that there's probably, can't bring them in a skiff or something like that. So what do you think about these lactation pods? They look like, a photo booth you might come across at a mall, or you go into an arcade and you want to play the Star Wars pod racing game. So you get in the thing and there's like a nice screen and you're like moving around back and forth, speeding through as Anakin before he goes all, full aggro and axes those kids. Anyway, that's a whole side story right there. I don't want to get too much into Star Wars looking at this lactation pod, but I guess if we are able to even get started on that, it might tell you that you need to make something that blends in a little bit more with your surroundings. If it was me, I wouldn't want a big booby-shaped pod to go in there and handle my business. I would want something that looks like just a normal room. And also it appears to be right in the center of an office, like dead center of an office or a P-way or something, where you have to just, walk into it in front of all of your peers and everything like that. It could be in a more private location at this one, which is a Nevada Air National Guard base in Reno. I guess, it is what it is. It's a step in the right direction, but in my opinion, it could be a little bit classier. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm all about supporting the moms and the women service members big time. I'm a big-time supporter of that, but sometimes you got to do it right. Did a bunch of dudes, handle that? I don't know. Let's see. That sticks out like a sore thumb, Tiffany says. Why not just put a neon sign next to it with an arrow? Because that would be the only thing much more conspicuous. Yeah, the neon sign could say boobies. Nothing but boobies over there. I've seen bigger photo booths, Ancient Neophyte says. Eviana says, I like it. We don't know how large the room actually is. Yeah. It looks pretty small. It looks like you would also like suffocate in there and get really hot. Uncomfortably hot. That's what it looks like. Yeah, you know, it's a good day. It's a good day in the neighborhood. We've got a great show. We've got great people in the audience, and we've got great veterans to talk about. I've got a story coming up that is just the best. It's the bee's knees, if you will. I really cannot wait to show you this upcoming story that I have. It's about two or three stories away, but when we get to it, it's going to be well worth the wait, folks. Well worth the wait. Actually, we're 2 stories away. I only have 1 story to get to before that one, and it's a doodaddle. I've got a doodaddle for you folks right here. The Army. You know, all the best stories start with the Army, just like this one. Machine gun missing at California Army Post. Somebody lost an M240 machine gun. Lost. You know, one does not simply lose an M240 machine gun. Military investigators are hoping to track down a machine gun that has gone missing from a California Army post. The M240 machine gun was last seen at Fort Irwin's Forward Operating Base Santa Fe, located in the Sandy training area of the post known as the Box, on August 4th, according to a photograph of a flyer posted to Reddit. We'll try to check that out. The Army's Criminal Investigative Division has opened an investigation into the missing gun. Currently, there are no indications of any criminal activity. No additional details will be released at this time. There's criminal activity. You don't just lose a machine gun. It is like 4 feet long. It weighs about 40 pounds, all put together and loaded up. I imagine somebody has that thing, okay? This is not the first weapon to go missing. It won't be the last. It is not just sitting somewhere unattended. Somebody has it. Facebook photos posted by Fort Irwin showed that the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Infantry Division, has been rotating through the National Training Center where the machine gun went missing this month. Barnes encouraged those with information about the gun's disappearance to call to Fort Irwin CID office. It is not uncommon for Army weapons to get stolen or lost. A 2021 Associated Press investigation found that 1,300 Army rifles and handguns went missing between 2013 and 2019. We've talked about that in the show before. In 2011, 3 members of military police stole 26 machine guns and a sniper rifle from Fort Irwin. Police found several of these weapons in Fresno. 8 years later, it is illegal for California civilians to possess machine guns unless they hold a state-issued permit. The State Department of Justice gives permits only to those with a proven need, machine gun manufacturers, for instance. So this is certainly not something to take lightly. It's definitely something very serious to lose a 240, which is a heavy weapon. It's a crew serve weapon. It is no joke. And if you get a bunch of 7.62 ammo linked up, you could do some real serious damage with that thing. So to what extent did the Army go to find this thing? If you're wondering how hard the Army looked to help find this weapon, they did poorly duct tape a missing poster to the wall with a picture of it, like it's on the back of a milk carton. I can't think of a worse way to go about this. This is one of the most pathetic efforts that I've ever seen. It's just a photo of, it's like a stock photo from Google of a 240. It's not the exact one missing. How do we know what if we find it 3 years from now? Are they going to do like, this is what it would look like in 3 years? This is what it would, when it grows up? How are we going to know? How would anybody know? How are they going to know? They're never going to know. So they just poorly, I mean, the tape's still laminating from the wall. It's got air pockets in it. God, golly, Army CID, you can't even tape this thing up to the wall well. It's, the paper's torn at the bottom. Golly, goodness gracious. Just not a good effort. Just not a good effort at all whatsoever. So somebody stole a machine gun, and the best we can do, like that old Pawn Stars meme, the best we can do is a missing poster. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section. That's where the best conversations happen. The comments section. That's where it goes down at. Let's check in the chat. Take it out of your pay. $50 a check till you retire. Yeah, $50 a check till your kids retire, more like it. I wonder what a 240 costs. Harry Line Pie says, don't look in my closet. Tiffany says, oops, that's a big oops. Yeah, it is. Eviana says, I would hate to think what would happen if someone lost a contact lens if they can't find this gun. Oh, my God. Max has a 240 in his closet. Trust. Oh, I wish. I do have a photo of me, carrying around a 240 from 2009 when I was a crew serve weapons gunner. Let's see. What else is going on in here? Missing paper posters. Can they please do better? Yeah. Larry D, any reward? I don't think so. Would a reward be not getting NJP'd? Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's already in the hands of some criminal. So it's probably already been sold or pawned off to a cartel or something like that. But that's none of my business. I'm just here to tell you guys what's going on out there in the world of the military, the deck plates, if you will. And I've got a story accompanied by a video here that is, there are stories that make me feel like I'm lucky to do what I do. I'm just so lucky because if I didn't do this, I might never know about this next story. And if I didn't know about this next story, my life would be less. If I didn't know this next tale here, my life would just be less than it is. It'd still be great, but less. What story am I talking about? Well, here's the headline. Watch an Air Force pararescue vet fight off an alligator attack with his bare hands in, you guessed it, Florida. A Florida man and former Air Force pararescueman is out of the hospital after fending off an alligator attack. That thing was huge. That thing wasn't a little gator. It would be funny if it was a little gator, Juan Carlos Laverde, who goes by JC Defeats, told local news station ABC Action News. On August 3rd, Defeats was swimming in Lake Thanatos, which is the dumbest name of a lake. That, again, the name of that lake again is Thanatos, near Tampa, Florida, filming a promo video for his company. A friend was filming overhead with a drone, which captured the alligator, estimated at 12 feet, closing in on Defeats. He says, with the right stroke, all I felt was scales, teeth, and then right there, I'm like, okay. So what I think I did, what I felt like I did, was that I immediately tried to open its jaws because I knew I was in a gator. Oh, my God. He said, speaking for all of humanity in his desire not to be in an alligator, the effort, he told a local Fox station, required a lot of belief in himself. So here's the video, including the moments leading up to the attack. So, folks, viewer beware. We're about to witness a gator strike. This is no joking around here.
Florida attacks. A man is out of the hospital after a gator chomped down on his head.
Nope. Nope. I'm going to give that one a big nope. Oh my golly. Look at that. That is a man in a lake, and that bigger disruption in the water is a 12-foot alligator swimming right at him. Oh my God.
And back.
This video is amazing. Tonight we're hearing from that man on how he fought off that gator to survive. It's the drone video that first saw this. It shows the man swimming in a lake in Hillsborough County when he comes face to snout with that 12-foot long gator. It all happened when JC Defeats was shooting a promotional commercial for his company back at the beginning of the month. Defeats says he forgot his goggles, so he did not even see the gator there in front of him. The violent attack lasts only seconds. Defeat says he actually put his hands in the mouth of the gator to get the beast to let go.
An unbelievable amount of...
Oh my God, he got really jacked up. Oh no, that's not even funny.
faith in myself that I wasn't gonna die. I was gonna be okay. But I needed to act, for sure.
The bite crushed his skull and it punctured his brain, so they ended up having to do a craniectomy, remove part of his temporal lobe.
Wow.
JC spent 8 days in the hospital. He was released last week. His jaw is still wired shut for the next couple of weeks. He will go back for one more surgery. He wants people to know that he is okay.
Whoa. Okay. That was not even funny. That was He had his brain removed partially. That is pretty serious. Whoa. So after that, he had to then get out of the water and escape and then get to the hospital and everything. He was driven. He struggled for a few seconds. The creature released him, and defeats managed to swim to a nearby dock where he was soon driven to the hospital. 6 hours of surgery to repair the damage, fractured skull, broken jaw, and nerve damage, and he's out of the hospital now. He has a plate over his brain. Wow. I guess that's why you don't go near Gator Village. You don't go near gator-infested lakes down in Florida. That's some... If I give you guys a little bit of advice, it's that alligators are very real in Florida. The little time I spent training in Florida, we encountered several. So please be careful down there in Florida and don't go into where the alligators are. I'll just give you that. I'm going to give you that one for free. Holy smokes. What do you guys think of that? Let me know what you guys think of that. Wow. JC defeats. Oh man, that was rough. I hope he recovers okay. I hope he's able to take care of himself. Man, Greenblock says, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that either. I thought we were going to be laughing and, smoking and joking with that guy. But nope, he got his brain eaten up by an alligator. Holy cow. Glad he made it out of there. That's some pararescue training right there to be able to survive in the water during an alligator attack. Oh my God. Larry D says, every body of fresh water in Florida has snakes and gators. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. In Florida, you got to worry about gators in the water. Elsewhere, you got to worry about gators in your school. We've got an interesting story coming up. We do have an interesting story coming up. We've been. I'm just going to go on a rant for a second here, which is that we've been talking a lot on this show in the last couple of years of National Guard, active duty vets being called up to do other stuff. They're teaching, they're guarding prisons, they're staffing hospitals, they're teaching at, various types of schools, like I was saying. They're getting called up to quell riots and guard the Capitol and, help with the border. They're responding to natural disasters. It's been rough. It has been a rough couple of years to be in the National Guard or Army Reserves or whoever's getting called up for this stuff. And now the Air Force is getting pegged on it too. Maybe I shouldn't say the Air Force is getting pegged. Well, the Air Force got called up to respond to the needs of a community in this next story. Alaska enlists active duty airmen as bus drivers for kids at base schools. So you've got your kid right here getting bullied on the bus, and then you've got, hey, lock it up, privates, private poopy pants. You get on this bus and you fall into a height line right now. Count off. I want you guys to count off.
1, 2, C.
Absolutely not. Who said C? Get off the bus. Height line. Drop and give me 20. Get back on the bus. Get off my bus. Get back on the bus. Get off my bus. I am done with you kids. None of you are going to make it through this school year. Absolutely not. I am your drill instructor bus driver for the rest of this year, and you are not going to like me. I will break every single one of you, is what students in Alaska are hearing as they get on the bus this year. At least 4 active duty airmen in Alaska are gearing up for what could be their most perilous mission yet, getting Anchorage Elementary School children to class safely and on time. Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson and the Anchorage School District announced Friday they had entered into an agreement to deputize airmen from the 673rd Air Base Wing. These airmen can't even get to their own post on time. How are they going to get these kids to preschool? They're going out as bus drivers amid a shortage that had led the district to suspend routes on a rotating basis for this school year. National Guardsmen across the country have been increasingly called upon to fill labor shortages. Using active duty service members for domestic purposes is uncommon. Alaska may be the first state to tap into its active duty troops to drive school buses. These are active duty airmen. That decision not made lightly. It comes after the state's National Guard reportedly denied a request to fill in as school bus drivers. Thank God. Thank God. Give those kids some mercy. They denied their request to fill in as school bus drivers, with a Guard spokesperson telling the Anchorage Daily News that the state law does not permit the activation of National Guard members for this purpose. Governor Mike Dunleavy would leave that alone. He would have had to declare a state of emergency in order to activate the Guard. In a statement announcing the partnership, the wing framed the decision as part of the Air Force being a good community partner and helping military families at the base, known as Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, which has had its own interesting year, that's for sure. Both of the school's airmen will be driving to Orion and Aurora Elementary Schools are on the installation's grounds, and the airmen will not be operating off base. Partnering with the school district to solve this challenge is most about delivering a quality school experience to JBER families and, most importantly, the students, said Colonel Dave Wilson. I'm proud of our team and how they came together to deliver additional drivers. This truly shows the flexibility of our service members to meet the needs of our community installation. Aw. The 4 airmen who will work as bus drivers come from the 673rd Logistics Readiness Group, so they were probably already driving buses. That's why they had their CDLs, commercial driver's licenses. What do you think? Is the Air Force going to send their best members or their worst members and get them out of the shop? That's probably what I would do. The base could also add another 4 airmen after the initial 4 are done training. The 3rd Elementary School on base, Ursa Minor, will not have what a weird bunch of school names. I bet they don't even have astronomy classes or astrology classes. That will not have a bus route, according to the statement. The initial agreement is for 90 days, but it could be extended until the appropriate number of civilian drivers have been hired and certified. We'll see. We will see, folks. So what do you think about this? The Alaska Air Force Base, Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, sending active duty airmen to drive your kids to school. What are your thoughts? Will your kids be coming home saluting you in a height line? Let me know in the comments down below. Yep, that's a thing. That's a thing. Your kid's on the school bus getting bullied, and up there, airman so-and-so ready to stand the watch. Crazy. Hope you guys liked my drill instructor there. I hope you did. I work hard to bring that quality content to you guys. John Franco says, I have a CDL for bus in the civilian world, but they won't send me to school to get my bus Army license. My day job is motor T operator. Curious. They will get PTSD from driving those kids. Yeah, maybe. You know who, as we move through today's show, you know who might have PTSD? A hometown hero. I've got a hometown hero story for you guys, which I know you love. If Mudrock's out there, I know he loves it, and I do too. I love the hometown hero stories. They are some of my favorite stories of all. Now, this isn't just a happy story. This next story is a serious story. But thank goodness that a veteran was there to save the day. From the police, heroic Safeway employee and Army veteran confronted gunmen in the store. As a gunman opened fire on a Safeway, an Army veteran was there to respond. Thank goodness. A Safeway employee who previously served in the U.S. Army for 2 decades attacked a gunman, I'm getting the chills right now, in the produce section of the Bend, Oregon supermarket. Oh, crime in Oregon, can you imagine? Possibly preventing more casualties from a shooting that left the employee and one other person dead. Police hailed the employee, 66-year-old Donald Ray Surratt Jr. of Bend, as a hero and said his actions may have saved shoppers at the store in the high desert city, ringed by mountains in the central part of the state. Customer Glenn Edward Bennett, 84 of Bend, was also killed Sunday evening, police spokesman Sheila Miller said. Mr. Surratt engaged with the shooter, attempted to disarm him, and may very well have prevented further deaths. Mr. Surratt acted heroically, turning this terrible event, Miller said at a news conference as she struggled through tears, the article says. Police said Monday the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His body was found by police near an AR-15 style weapon and a shotgun. Police identified the gunman as Ethan Blair Miller, 20 years old. The gunman lived in an apartment complex behind the Forum Shopping Center. Witnesses said he began shooting Sunday evening as soon as he left the complex and continued firing as he entered the shopping complex's parking lot and then went into the Safeway. Bennett was killed at the store's entrance, police said, and the shooter then moved through the aisle, spraying shots from the assault rifle until Surratt confronted him. The entire incident, from the first 911 calls to officers discovering the suspect dead in the store, unfolded in 4 minutes. That's how fast it happens. Police entered the supermarket from the front and rear as shots were still being fired. Deborah Jean Surratt, the ex-wife of the Safeway employee killed in the attack, told the Associated Press in a phone interview that Surratt served in the Army for 20 years as a combat engineer. He wasn't deployed to active combat zones, but during the 20 years they were married from 1975 to 1995. They were stationed in Germany 3 times and lived on military bases across the U.S. They're trained to be the first ones to go into war and the last ones to come home, she told the AP. Ben Mayer Pro Tem Anthony Broadman said Americans need to guard against the cynicism of thinking these attacks on order and peace as regular, unavoidable things. I won't accept that. We know that in the face of the kind of chaos we saw last night, we had brave first responders, brave citizens, people willing to stand up for their neighbors. Authorities later found 3 Molotov cocktails and a sawed-off shotgun in the shooter's car. The Oregon State Police bomb squad was called in to sweep the store and the car and the suspect's apartment for explosives, authorities said, forcing the evacuation of the apartment building. There was reports of a second shooter, which were not true. Authorities are seeking a search warrant to comb through online materials to see what the motive here might have been. They did not comment on any reports of the suspect's online activity. We are aware that the shooter may have posted information online regarding his plan. We're investigating this. We have no evidence of previous threats or prior knowledge of the shooter. We received information about the shooter's writings after the incident had taken place, and the shooter has no criminal history in the area. He graduated, the shooter, from Mountain View High School in Bend in 2020, so he's just a young man. He was a huge fan of MMA and tried to fight everyone at Mountain View and kept getting his butt kicked, and he just never learned, said Isaac Thomas, who was suspended for a week as a freshman for fighting with the gunman. So he was a violent kid, couldn't be controlled. At one point, he said he was going to shoot me, and I was like, get over yourself, because I didn't think he had a gun, but I guess I was wrong, Thomas said. Thomas ran into him in 2020 in the parking lot of Safeway when a gunman was gathering up cars as part of his job. He recognized him and threatened him again, although several years had gone by, Thomas said. Wow. Horrible. Horrible. So, you know, unfortunately, this hero, he lost his life, but he prevented the deaths of many others. And that's what heroes do. Run toward danger, knowing or not knowing, or at least having some kind of idea of the threat that they face, that they're about to be up against, and being prepared to pay that price for their neighbors and communities and country. And there's nothing more heroic. There can be no greater action of courage and bravery and honor and integrity than to lay down your life to protect others in need. And it's a tragedy all around. But thank God that this hero veteran, Donald Surratt Jr. of Bend, 66 years old, 20-year full career in the Army, just trying to live his life working at a grocery store, killed in this shooting, but dying as a hero. Absolute hero. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section. Man, hometown hero paid the ultimate price. Curious what you guys think about that. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Larry D says, Jokers come to Florida from Michigan and think it's neat to find a gator. Still talking about gators. One Drama Sam, 4 minutes. Yep. Hua. I give a hua to that soldier out there for being a hero. But I also give my condolences to the family, because that is a sad, sad story. Oh, man. It's good to honor those heroes. It's good to honor those who conduct themselves in that way. Even long after his career ended, he kept those core values of heroism, sacrifice, selflessness, all that, to be there for his community. What more could you ask of anybody? There's nothing else you can give. So that brings us to our final story of today, which hopefully is something you guys can get excited about. Coming off of that tragedy that we just reported on, I do have something for you that's a little more positive, We've been flooded with new military movies lately. Today's no exception. Today has a brand new military movie as well. This one comes out of World War II. Let's talk about it, and I'll get you guys on your way to go enjoy the rest of your day with your friends, family, whatever else you're doing. Burial, a new movie coming out, a ghoulish military mission in the last days of World War II. This movie's about to hit theaters and streaming on September 2nd. Nazi ghouls have figured in plenty of horror movies, whether preserved in 1990 or 66's Frozen Dead or 78's Boys from Brazil or Overlord. But this new movie, Burial, revolves around a corpse, the corpse, as far as World War II's end was concerned, that does not reanimate or otherwise come back to life, but poses a grave threat nonetheless. It's an interesting concept. Not quite horror, despite its macabre theme and mood. This sophomore directorial feature for Ben Parker is a handsomely produced period thriller that delivers in terms of action and atmospherics. Even if a somewhat convoluted story doesn't maximally pay off, IFC Midnight, releasing this Estonia-shot UK production, is limited to US theaters and on-demand platforms September 2nd. So, let's take a look at this brand new World War II thriller, Burial, coming from IFC Midnight, who I'll usually give their movies a chance. I'll usually give IFC Midnight a chance. And let's see if this movie looks like something you are going to tune in to watch when it hits next week. Let's check it out. This is the trailer for Burial, coming to streaming September 2nd. Berlin.
There's been a change of plan. Transport by plane is no longer an option.
I thought the time was of the essence.
It is far more important to get it back as quietly as possible. This is a ticking bomb liable to blow up if we are not careful.
Why do we bury it every night?
Someone kills us in our sleep. They still might not find it.
Get up.
Where are you going?
To find supplies in the village. Spoils of war.
It's not safe. We need to protect this.
The Führer.
He shot himself in his bunker in Berlin. This is more important than any of us.
Look around you.
What the hell happened here?
There's no one here.
Forest. As you see things.
There's no one watching.
We need to move out.
What if you die trying to protect us?
No one cares. The war is over. The war is over.
The war is not over.
Whoa. That looks like a trip right there. Transporting the Führer's body across, enemy lines at the end of World War II. So what do you guys think about that? Does that look interesting to you? I think that I'll give that a shot. I'll typically watch something if IFC Midnight puts it out. I'll give it a shot. I'll go check that out when it hits theaters September 2nd. So that's just next week after as we go into Labor Day. I guess that'll be the weekend before Labor Day. Yeah, so September 2nd is like Monday or something like that, or Saturday. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I'll probably check it out, and I'll bring you guys a review if it deems worthy. Let me know what you think in the comments. And that, folks, a little early, brings us to the end of this episode of the Scuttlebutt Show. As always, a reminder that scuttlebuttshow.com is your place for all merch. You can get yourself a Train to Train t-shirt like the one that I'm wearing right now, or a Scuttlebuddies t-shirt or anything else. You can head to Patreon or click that join button right below this video on YouTube or any of my other videos. Please feel free to go back and listen to old episodes of the podcast. There are almost 400 episodes of the podcast out now that you guys can all go check out, as well as hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube. And if one seems good enough, and if it feels like it's earned it, consider sharing it as well. Thank you guys for joining me today. All the patrons, all the members, all the people out there in the chat, thank you. It's an honor, as always, to have you be a part of the Scuttlebutt Show team here, joining me every day. I look forward to chatting with you and bringing you guys, hopefully, some good stories. And I do imagine that you guys go out there and share those stories with other people too. I hope that you do. Hey, I heard something cool on the Scuttlebutt Show today. And then you share it with a friend or family member. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, consider leaving a like as well. That always helps. And let people know, invite them to the next one. Ancient Neophyte says, great one, Max. We were all smarter for having listened. Yes, as in contrast to what the finale is about to say, maybe everyone is a little bit smarter after listening to that. And let's go honor that hero, Mr. Surratt, out there from Bend, Oregon, and let's go be good people and take care of our communities and family and friends. How about that? With all that being said, I look forward to talking to you guys all very soon. For now, that's the Scuttlebutt.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.